to my readers, you have to maybe hold the mic. You have to be a little close to it. Well, welcome everybody. My name is Anna, and I'm here with the African American Reading Committee. I work for the museums here in Kenosha in the Education Department, and it is my pleasure to officially welcome you to the 37th Annual African American Read-In. And this program is truly one of my favorites that I look forward to each year because it always comes at the perfect time in the middle of this terrible cold winter when we all need a bit of warmth and a bit of light, and we can gather in this room to be inspired and challenged and hopeful. So I want to express my gratitude to all who make this event possible, from our small planning team and community partners, which include the Kenosha Literacy Council, the Public Museum, the Library, the American Association of University Women, the Kenosha Community Media, and the Coalition for Dismantling Racism. To all the readers who put such thought and care into their selections, to the, hold please, new name, Alpha Gamma Psi Omega of the Alpha Kappa Alpha, ladies who greeted you at the door, and to all of you who are in this room, which make this program possible. Thank you for being here. And without further ado, our MC is new this year. It's her first year doing this. The multi-talented Miss Jada Monet Robinson. Help me welcome her.
Thank you, Anna, for such a warm welcome. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you. My name is Jada Monet Robinson, and it is an absolute honor to serve as an MC for an event that has been a long-standing tradition for 37 years. That is 37 years of bringing the community together, 37 years of breaking barriers, having important conversations, and uniting under one roof, all through literature. Thank you all for being here today. Today you will hear from several readers this afternoon from various ages and backgrounds. By having diverse readers, it brings home the message of what the African American Read-In hopes to display. That Black history is American history, a history that we are all able to and should take part in. That by highlighting one, it does not exclude another. That history is here so that we may learn and bring our communities together so that we may be better. Every year, the African American Read-In starts with Lift Every Voice and Sing, a remarkable anthem celebrating justice and freedom for all. The lyrics may be found in your programs that were so generously made and printed by the Kenosha Public Library. At this time, I would like to welcome the exceptional S.C. Bennett to the stage to lead us in a community sing of Lift Every Voice and Sing. Please join me in welcoming her to the stage.
May we all stand? Good afternoon. We can get a little warm while we sing the song, right? And we will sing all few verses because you can't omit anything that would mess up the song, wouldn't bring the true meaning of what the song really is about, all right? Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven rings with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening sky. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun, let us march on till victory is won. felt in the days when hope unborn has died, yet with a steady beat have not our weary feet come to the place for which our Father sighed. We have come over a way that with tears has been watered. We have come treading our path through the blood of the slaughter. Out from the gloomy past till now we stand at last, where the white gleam of our bright star is cast. God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, Thou who hast brought us thus far on the way, Thou who hast by Thy mind led us into the light, keep us forever in the path we pray. Lest our feet stray from the places our God where we met Thee. Lest our hearts, drunk with the wines of the world, we forget Thee. Shadow beneath Thy hand, may we forever stand, true to our God, true to our native land. Give yourself a round of applause. You sound so great.
Thank you, Essie, for leading us in this year's Community Sing. At this time, it is a great honor to welcome City of Kenosha Mayor David Bagdala to the stage. Please give him a warm welcome.
Thank you, everyone. It's always a pleasure to be here on such a beautiful day in Kenosha. And I do have a proclamation I would like to read and present, highlighting this very important event. It's amazing. You think about how much has transpired over these many years, and how much work has been done, but yet how much work we still have to do as a community. And I think today is a testament to show that we're committed to that. We're going to continue to work together for everyone. So here's a proclamation. Whereas National African American Reading Day was established in 1990 by the National Council of Teachers of English to promote literacy and celebrate the rich literary contributions of African American authors. And whereas reading is a fundamental skill that empowers individuals, strengthens communities, and fosters lifelong learning and critical thinking. And whereas African American literature reflects the history, culture, struggles, triumphs, and voices that have shaped our nation, and it continues to inspire readers of all ages and backgrounds. And whereas the National African American Reading Day encourages people to come together in schools, libraries, community centers, and museums, and homes to read, share, and discuss the works by African American writers, poets, and scholars. And whereas promoting literacy and diverse representation in literature helps build understanding, equality, and respect while encouraging young people to see themselves reflected in the stories they read. Now therefore, I, David F. Bagdala, Mayor of the City of Kenosha, do hereby proclaim February 7, 2026 as National African American Reading Day, and encourage all residents, educators, students, and community members to participate by reading works by African American authors and celebrating the power of words that can educate, inspire, and unite us all.
Thank you, Mayor Bogdala, for being in attendance this afternoon and for presenting a proclamation on such a special day. At this time, I would like to ask you all to join me in welcoming to the stage Kenosha County Executive Samantha Kirkman.
Well, let's give Jada a round of applause. I've been to many events where she's emceed. She always adds a special touch, and you've already started that today, so again, wanted to say thank you to you. I have another proclamation, but to get there, I want to talk about the ripple effect. The mayor so eloquently gave a proclamation on what today means, but I'm here to talk about Black History Month. And it's so vitally important that we take time to celebrate and to honor our roots, our history, and our legacy. Kenosha County is one of those special places and was part of the transformation of the Civil War. And I know that our forefathers played a part in ending slavery. And it's so important that we recommend and recognize our roots and how we got here today. And so that's why it's special to have this proclamation and to have everybody remember the ripple effect. And like the mayor said, we have to always remember we've done a lot to get here today, but it's where we go in the future. And our young and our youth that are here today, inspiring them and to have the impact for generations to come is so important. To be kind, to love one another. So much of my job, and I know the mayor's job can be difficult, and we persevere through the difficult days to remember those days where we're able to inspire and impact others. And so recognizing Black History Month is one of those times where we can inspire for the next generation and not forget. We remember our past, but then we share with the future. And over the last couple of weeks, I've had an opportunity to speak to a lot of our youth, and I've impressed upon them every time I've had that opportunity that we have to be kind. We have to remember where we've come from, and we have to celebrate our past and how we push forward into our future. So I'm pleased today to offer this executive proclamation by Kenosha County Executive Samantha Kirkman, Black History Month, February 2026. Whereas February is designated as Black History Month, a time celebrating and honoring our culture and our contributions of Black Americans while recognizing our rich diversity is one of our greatest strengths. And whereas the origins of Black History Month date back to 1915, when Dr. Carter Woodson founded an organization known as the Association for the Study of African American Life and History. And whereas Black History Month in the U.S. began as a one-week observance in February of 1926, and whereas in 1960, the week was expanded to Black History Month as it coincides with the birthdays of Frederick Douglass, born on February 14th, and Abraham Lincoln, born on February 12th. And whereas observing Black History Month provides opportunities to celebrate the achievements and contributions of Black Americans and recognizing the barriers that Black Americans have overcome. And now, therefore, be hereby resolved that I, Kenosha County Executive Samantha Kirkman, do proclaim February 26th as Black History Month and call upon all the citizens in Kenosha County to wholeheartedly participate in its observance. Given on this day, Samantha Kirkman.
Thank you so much, Ms. Brown. I appreciate it. Thank you, Kenosha County Executive Samantha Kirkman, for taking time this afternoon to be in attendance for such a historical event and for presenting a proclamation. It is now time to hear from our selected readers. The genre of pieces that will be displayed by the readers is endless, and it's my favorite part of the event because it showcases the spaces of the literature world that African Americans have reached. I will call each reader to the stage in the order that has been listed in our program. There may be a few adjustments. When we make it to the halfway point of our readers, it will be time for the entertainment section honoring Intozaki Shange. And after the entertainment portion of today's program, we will continue and hear more reading selections for our readers. Up first, please welcome back to the stage City of Kenosha Mayor David Bardala.
Hello again. Today, the selection I've chosen today is actually from a book from Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. It's called Coach Wooden and Me. I selected this piece to read. Number one, I've read this book actually many times. But one, I was just arguing with my son the other day because he incorrectly thinks that LeBron James is better than Michael Jordan, and I said no. So it made me, I was thinking about it last week. But number two, I also, as we talked about, is that it's my son, who's a student athlete here at Carthage College. I said it's more important than to be just a good athlete. It's to be someone who understands what you need to do as a person, what you need to do as an athlete in this community. You need to be someone who inspires others. You need to be someone who fosters change. And that's what Kareem was. And that's why also the third reason I chose this as well is it also is two people who come from completely different backgrounds, Kareem and Coach Wooden. But we're two people that came together and inspired each other. And I'm hopeful to all of the young people, particularly who are here today, that you've got two people from opposite ends of the spectrum. Couldn't be any more different, but came together and did lots of great things, not only for basketball, but for this community and for this world. And I hope that you will take that as an action item after today, that that's what you are going to do. Inspire change and inspire it through all the work that you do. John Wooden died in 2020. So why did I wait 7 years to write this book? Because it's something he taught me over the nearly 50 years of our friendship. When I played for Coach Wooden at UCAA, he was very hands-on. He would follow us up and down the sideline, barking encouragement and instructions. Then he would pull an individual aside to demonstrate a shot, a pick, a fake. His face always seemed inches from ours, but sometimes he would go all the way to the top of the rafters of Pauley Pavilion, where all he had to do was raise his arm to touch the ceiling. From there, he would look down on us like a benevolent God, watching us scuttle up and down the court. He liked the fresh perspective that gave him, a way to see the big picture, watch how all the moving parts work together. And that's what I had to do with our many years of friendship. I had to climb over the 7 years since his death to view what it all meant, measure how great of an impact he had on me and others. This book is that view. I could have written a book about him after I left UCAA, or after I retired from the pros, or after the coach died. But those books wouldn't have been this book. This book spans 50 years of evolving friendship, seen through the eyes of a man who was old enough and mature enough to understand the truth about our relationship, even when I was too young at the time to recognize those truths myself. Coach Wooden's most important lesson was that we should never focus on the outcome, but on the activity itself. Don't think about winning the game, he'd say. Just do everything possible to prepare. As long as you know you've done everything possible and you have given your best self on the court, that is your reward. The scoreboard is meaningless. This philosophy, which became the basis for his time as an English teacher and coach, was inspired by an anonymously written poem he read in college. Before God's footstool to confess, a poor soul knelt and bowed his head. I failed, he wailed. The master said, thou did thy best. That is success. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Bardala. Up next, we have Ron Tatum, Executive Director of Kenosha Racine Action Agency. Please welcome him to the stage.
Good afternoon. You guys are quiet here. It's a beautiful day out. Feels like spring, right? after that polar vortex. How's everybody doing this afternoon? Oh, that was weak. How's everybody doing this afternoon? I see Tamara coming in the corner. She should be the loudest one in the room. Not today, tomorrow. Well, good afternoon. As she shared, I'm Ron Tatum. I am the CEO for Racing Kenosha Community Action Agency, also the Vice President of the Kenosha Coalition Against Dismantling Racism. So I'm excited to be here amongst each and every one of you. This is my third year reading. Some of you in the room know that I historically write my own poems or poetry, if you would, surrounding Black History Month. This year I was prepared to read an excerpt from one of my favorite books. But then there were some recent events that transpired in our nation the past couple of days that resulted in me taking my pen to paper. If that makes sense. That's my coping mechanism. Taking pen to paper when I'm angry or when I'm upset or when I'm disappointed. That's the way I cope. And so I'm not going to read an excerpt from my favorite book today. I thank God for dropping this poem in my heart and giving me the gift to write and to translate this information that I'm going to share with you today. So the title of this is Acknowledging Authority. They tell me to acknowledge authority. So bear with me. They tell me to respect the office, even when the office disrespects my face. They quote the book of Romans to me to submit to authority, but never ask what happens when authority submits me. That turn my humanity into a punchline. I am told to be calm, to be patient, to be civil, while my ancestors hang silently from the branches of history they swear we've moved past. Martin said we must learn to live together as brothers or perish together as fools. But how do you clasp hands with someone who sees you as an animal before they ever seen you as a man? How do I bow my head in prayer for a leader who bows to hatred and calls it humor, calls it politics, calls it freedom of speech, when my freedom is the joke? The Bible does not say, the Bible does say, yes, acknowledge authority. The Bible does say that. But it never says surrender your soul. It never says love and justice. It never says silence is holiness. I'm a black man in America, and fear walks beside me like a shadow that learned my name very early. Fear of being seen too much. Fear of being seen too little. Fear that the man with the loudest microphone has already decided who I am without ever listening. But still, I am here. But better doesn't happen by pretending. Better doesn't grow in denial. Better demands truth, demands courage, demands that we respect and require more from those who claim the power to lead us. Now, I want to be clear. I don't want division. I want dignity. I don't want hate. I want humanity. And if respecting authority means erasing myself, then maybe the real disrespect is asking me to disappear so someone else can stay comfortable. We must be better. We must do better. And we must never stop reminding this nation that leadership without love is just power wearing a crown. Wow. In closing, we must expect and require better. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ron, for that powerful poem. Up next, we have our first youth reader this afternoon. Please give a warm welcome to Miss Kiki.
My name is Kiki I am going to read 3 poems today by 2 poets to celebrate African American writing. The first one is by Sonia Sanchez, titled This Is Not a Small Voice, followed by For Sister Gwen Brooks, also written by Sonia Sanchez. And my last poem is written by Gwendolyn Brooks with the title Paul Roberson. This is not a small voice you hear. This is a large voice coming out of these cities. This is the voice of Latanya, Kadesha, Shaquina. This is the voice of Antoni, Daryl, and Shaquille. Running over waters, navigating the hallways of our schools, spilling out on the corners of our cities, and no tuppence spill out of their river mouths. This is not a small love you hear. This is a large love. A passion for kissing learning on its face. This is a love that crowns the feet with hands, that nourishes, conceives, feels like the water sails. Men's children folds them inside our history, where they toast more than the flesh, where they suck the bones of the alphabet, spit out closed vowels. This is a love colored with iron and lace. This is a love entitled Black Genius. This is not a small voice you hear. For Sister Gwen Brooks. You tell the stars, don't be jealous of her light. You tell the ocean, you call out to the Olokun to bring her always to safe harbor. For she is a holy one, this woman twirling her emerald lariat. You tell the night to move gently into the morning so she's not startled. You tell the morning to ease her into a waterfall of dreams, for she is a holy one, restringing her words from city to city, so that we live and breathe and smile and breathe and love and breathe her. This one sister called life. Paul Roberson. That time we all heard it, cool and clear, cutting across the hot grit of the day. The major voice, the adult voice, forgoing rolling river, forgoing tearful tale of bale and barge, and other symptoms of an old despond. Mourning in music words, devote and large, that we each other harvest. We are each other's magnitude and bond.
Thank you, Kiki. Up next, we have another youth reader. Please welcome to the stage, Takia.
I'm going to be reading a poem by Dr. Maya Angelou today. Dr. Maya Angelou, who lived from 1928 to 2014, was an iconic American poet, activist, and teacher, making her one of the most powerful voices in modern literature and civil rights history. She had this rare gift. She could write with deep honesty and still offer hope. Her words feel personal but universal, as if she was speaking directly to you, reminding you that your story matters. President Barack Obama, in a speech honoring her life, said this about her: by holding on, even amid cruelty and loss, and then expanding to a sense of compassion and ability to love. By holding on to her humanity, she has inspired countless others who have known injustice and misfortune in their lives. I would like to read her poem, Caged Bird, written and published in 1983. A free bird leaps on the back of the wind and floats downstream till the current ends, and dips his wing in the orange sun's rays and dares to clean the sky. But a bird that stalks down in his narrow cage can seldom see through his bars of rage. His wings are clipped and his feet are tied, so he opens his throat to sing. The caged bird sings with a fearful trill of things unknown and longed for still, and his tune is heard on a distant hill, for the caged bird sings of freedom. The free bird thinks of another breeze, and the trade winds soft through the sighing breeze, and the fat worms waiting on the dawn-bright lawn, and he names the sky his own. But a caged bird stands on the grave of dreams, his shadow shouts on a nightmare scream, his wings are clipped and his feet are tied, so he opens his throat to sing. The caged bird sings with a fearful trill of the things unknown but long for still, and his tune is heard on a distant hill, while the caged bird sings of freedom.
Good job, Takia. Up next, we have the CEO of the Racine YMCA, Tamar Colvin. Please welcome her to the stage. I think I might need the She didn't ask me, but it's okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm still a little moved by Mr. Tatum's poem. That was beautiful. I have the honor to read a statement that was read by Amanda Gorman. She was at the United Nations. She was reading to leaders, and the purpose of her speaking was she wanted to impact the entire nation through her words. So here's her piece. How can I ask you to be good when we've barely withstood our greatest threats, yet the depths of our death, despair, and disparity of our attributes? Across cities and towns and countries, lives lost, climatic costs, exhausted, angered. We are endangered not because of our numbers, but because of our numbness. We're strangers to one another's perils and pains, unaware that the welfare of the public and the planet share a name. Equality doesn't mean being exact same, but enacting a vast aim. The good of the world to its highest capabilities. The wise believe that our people without power leaves our planet without possibilities. Therefore, though poverty is a poor existence, complicity is a poor excuse. We must go the distance through this battle. It's hard. And huge though this fight we did not choose, for preserving the earth isn't a battle too big to win, but a blessing too large to lose. This is the most pressing truth, that our people have only one planet to call home, and our planet has only one people to call its own. We can either divide and be conquered by the few, or we can decide to conquer the future and say that today is a new dawn. As long as we have humanity, we will forever have hope. Together we won't just be the generation that tries, but the generation that triumphs. Let us see legacy where tomorrow is not driven by the human condition, but by our human conviction. And while hope alone can't save us now, I hope it can, but now, with it, because I always have hope, with it we have braved the now, because our heart has changed, hinges on our darkness challenges. Thus may our crisis be our cry, our crossroad. The oldest old we owe each other. We chime in the climate for our communities. We show respect and protect every part of the planet. Hand it to every heart on this earth until no one's worth is rendered by the race, gender, class, or identity they were born. This more let it be sworn that we are one human kin, grounded not just by griefs we bear, but by the good we begin to anyone out there. I only ask that you care, because it's too late, that you live aware and awake, that you live with love in hours of hate. I challenge you to heed this call, and I dare you to shape our fate. Above all, I dare you to do good so that the world might be great. and that's the Amanda Gorman piece. Thank you. Thank you, Tamara. Up next to the stage, please welcome Miss Kenosha, Nalika Dennis.
Hi, everyone. So with Black History Month, there's a lot of emphasis on Dr. Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech. I chose some selections based on dreams. It was my dream to be an engineer, so I did that. It was my dream to be a scientist, so I did that. And it was my dream to be Miss Kenosha. So I did that. I never thought I'd win, but I did. So the first poem I'm reading is Harlem by Langston Hughes. It's one of my favorite poems ever. What happens to a dream deferred? Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun, or fester like a sore and then run? Does it stink like rotten meat, or crust and sugar over like a syrupy sweet? Maybe it just sags like a heavy load, or does it explode? And that was Harlem. Second, I'm reading a poem that I wrote. I love to write as a coping method as well, and growing up I had a friend, David, who's no longer with us, so I wrote this poem about him. It's called Slingshot. David traded his slingshot for a brand new Glock. I told him all it takes is some faith in a tiny rock. He told me I was dreaming too big and I just needed to stop. Then he pulled back his gun and it went cock. But just before he hid, a different kind of rock in the band of his Nike tube sock. David traded his dreams for a brand new Glock. Poor David. 2 weeks later, he got shot. And then my final poem is by Nikki Giovanni. I really love her. She's a revolutionary poet to me. And the title of this piece is called Revolutionary Dreams. I used to dream militant dreams of taking over America to show these white folks how it should be done. I used to dream radical dreams of blowing everyone away with my perceptive powers of correct analysis. I even used to think I'd be the one to stop the riot and negotiate the peace. Then I awoke and dug that if I dreamed natural, dreams of being a natural woman, doing what a woman does when she's natural, I would have a revolution. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kenosha Nalika. Up next, we have representing the 65th District, Ben DeSmit. Please welcome him to the stage.
Hello, everyone. It's wonderful to be here with you all. As Jada said, I represent the southern half of the city of Kenosha and part of the village of Pleasant Prairie in the Wisconsin State Assembly. Last year, I read a selection from James Baldwin's The Fire Next Time, which I used to teach up at Carthage College in their heritage program. But this year, I thought I'd choose something from Baldwin's body of work from the Vietnam era, because I think today the conflicts that we're facing when so many people are protesting an administration that is showing us examples of injustice and hatred every day, this poem really spoke to me. So it's entitled, Every Bombed Village is My Hometown, and every dead child is my child. Every grieving mother is my mother. Every crying father is my father. Every home turned to rubble is the home I grew up in. Every mother carrying the remains of his brother across the borders is my brother. Every sister waiting for a sister who will never come home is my sister. Every one of these people are ours, just like we are theirs. We belong to them, and they belong to us. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. DeSmit. Up next to the stage, we have a youth reader. Please welcome Milani to the stage.
My name is Milani Hope. I'm in 4K. I go to Jeffrey and Kenosha Montessori School.
Oh.
I'm going to be reading a book about my sisters. Starlight, Starbright, my sister and me. Two of a kind sharpens the mind, my sister and me. Hear our roar, watch us soar, my sister and me. Not afraid to ask why, always willing to try, my sister and me. Actions are bold, love is gold, my sister and me. Inspire and dream, we make a great team, my sister and me. Win and don't give her a shout, my sister and me. Ready to explore, looking for more, my sister and me. Reach of a kind, a variant way, watch my sister and me. Mingle and loyal, lovely and loyal, my sister and me. She has my back, keeps me on track, my sister and me. Perfect together, always and forever, my sister and me. Sisters are friends for life.
Yes, good. Up next, we have Amy Grau, Kenosha Community Foundation Executive Director. Please welcome her.
That's a hard act to follow. Today I'm going to read two, small pieces from the 1619 Project, A New Origin Story. It is a 2021 anthology of essays and poetry, and the book was created by Nicole Hannah Jones. The 1619 Project sets out to decenter whiteness as the only American origin story and highlight the innumerable contributions and experiences of Black Americans, just as this event is. With the writings in this book, they center a bit of history, so I'm going to read kind of the context to the poem and then go ahead with that. So, March 16th of 1870, a month after being sworn in, Mississippi Senator Hiram Rhodes Revels, the first Black member of either house of Congress in the USA, he gave his first speech on the floor of the Senate. His comments address a debate on whether Congress should force the Georgia State Legislature to accept 29 Black state representatives and 3 Black state senators who had recently been elected but were being denied their seats. This is a found poem derived from the text of his historic speech. It's entitled, Like to the Rushing of a Mighty Wind by Tracy K. Smith. I rise, lifting my voice. My term is short and fraught, and I bear about me daily the keenest sense of the power of blacks to shed hallowed light, to welcome the good news. Weary of bondage, sorrow, adjudication delayed, they wait and they wait. The feelings which animate them are by God's law natural and logical. Alone, my race acts in interrogation. Would the country believe its borders wide enough for all truly loyal men to find themselves within it? And be the loyal black man, will his pursuit of liberty and happiness find feuds and contentions, death and disaster, the very air dark as our ugly dream? Many of my race sleep in the countless graves of the South. If our dead could speak, what a voice, like the rushing of a mighty wind, would come up. From the ground, her whole people, white and colored, should race to each other wholly and with honor. Meet and fit for admission the events transpired. Now, sir, now, I wish my last voice upon the bill before us be now. So the author, Nicole Hannah Jones, of this project also wrote a children's book so that we could convey some of the horrors of slavery and beyond to youth. And I bought the book for my son, who's 5. And my husband was really torn about the thought of bringing the book into our lives. And so decentering whiteness is real. It happens in all homes. And we got to continue to advocate because, of course, 5-year-olds were slaves, even as young as 5 years old. So rather than read the whole book, I was just going to read the last page. It says, Pride. Grandma looks at me and my brother and tells me, this is why we say Black Lives Matter, why we celebrate Black girl magic, why we believe we are our ancestors' wildest dreams. Never forget, we are their hope. Never forget you came from a people of great strength, Grandma says. Be proud of our story, your story. The next day I go to school, pull out my red crayon, my blue crayon, my white crayon. I draw the stars and I draw the stripes of the flag of our country that my ancestors built, that my grandma and my grandpa built, that I will help build too. I'm not ashamed. I know what my story is, where I am from, where I begin.
Amy Grau for those moving 2 pieces. Up next, we have the Executive Director of the Kenosha Literacy Council. Please welcome to the stage, Cheryl Hernandez.
Good afternoon, everyone. So at the Literacy Council, it is my privilege to help adults in our community learn to read, write, and speak English. So we work with adults who are going back to school to improve their reading and get their GEDs. But we also work with immigrants who are new to our community who are going to make Kenosha their new home. And so it's just a privilege to work with all of our students and help them improve their skills. So today, instead of reading, I often read a children's book, but each year the Literacy Council puts together a book that has stories that are written by our students. We just call it our student anthology. So this is this year's student anthology. We have some copies on the back table, so you can take one if you'd like. There's a couple stories that I just wanted to point out. One is from a student, Fatimata. She is new to our community from Liberia in West Africa, and so you can see her story about her experience coming to Kenosha, her first time here, kind of making it her new home. But I'm going to read a story today from another one of our students. His name is Chris Bogan, and he talks about when he first moved to Kenosha as well. His story is called A Really Good Job. As a young boy, I remember that my dad was a good auto mechanic. I didn't like working on cars. I wanted to have an office job. Then I found out AMC was hiring. To work at AMC was very important to me. For the first time, I would be making good money. So I filled out an application, and behold, they called, and I was so excited. A 23-year-old man, I was going to be working at AMC. When I first started there, I was on first shift. The size of the plant was very large. I had never worked in a place that big. After I started to work, my supervisor asked me had I thought about being a floater. That way, I could work different jobs every day. And that's when my journey began to making good money. I always wanted to have something to talk about like I did, and then it happened, a really good job.
Up next, we have a youth reader. Please welcome to the stage, Marcellus.
Hi, my name is Marcellus, and today I went back and forth on which passage to read. And in giving the state of the world, I decided to read this powerful one by Common, Then I Rise. With all injustice in the world, especially to our black and brown sisters and brothers, we must all take a stand to collectively fight against the wrong, and we must not tire out, but keep marching on. It reads, a philosophy of love and respect that became a mantra for me. There was a moment in my life when I realized I wanted to do something to better this world. If you want to be part of a revolution, you've got to find those ways to be in tune with yourself. I've said it in my speeches, and I'll say it here. There's no activism without self-activism. As Angela Davis told Afropunk, anyone who's interested in making change in the world also has to learn to take care of herself, himself, and their self. For black women and black men in America, self-care is a revolutionary act. The most fruitful and impactful human beings have had to have a certain love for self and taking care of themselves to go out and to do the work they did. Those who forgot about it or strayed off the back path got to pay that time. We all feel that if you want to keep going, you've got to re-up. When you're working against dark forces, you've got to prepare yourself so that you can take the step forward with everything you've got. This means blessing yourself with food that comes from the earth, honoring yourself with a good workout, making space for music, books, and arts, embracing forgiveness and compassion, seeking your higher self. These actions carry tremendous power. As Andre Lord said, caring for myself is not self-indulgence, it is self-preservation. And this is an act of political warfare. Take care of myself, take care of my people. That's my way of fighting. That's my revolution.
Following Marcellus, please welcome another youth reader to the stage, Marcus.
Hello everyone, my name is Marcus Hill. I attend Lakeview Technology Academy and I'm 17 years old. Today I had a Maya Angelou speech prepared. I know how the caged bird sings, but as we can agree, another reader had beautifully read that today. So I was trying to figure out what I was going to read, and so I just thought to do a song. And this song is a song J. Cole wrote. It's called Be Free, and it's in response to the killing of Michael Brown, an unarmed black teenager who was shot by a police officer in Ferguson, Missouri in 2014. So this is the start of the song. So it says, and I'm in denial, and it don't take no x-ray to see through my smile. And there ain't no drink out there that can numb my soul. All I want to do is take the chains off. And all I want to do is break the chains off. And all I want to do is be free. And all I want to do is be free. And all I want to do is take the chains off. And all I want to do is take the chains off. And all I want to do is be free. And all I want to do is be free. Can you tell me why? Every time I step outside, I see my people dying. I'm letting you know that there ain't no gun out there that can kill my soul. Oh no. All I want to do is take the chains off. All I want to do is take the chains off. All I want to do is be free. All I want to do is be free. All I want to do is take the chains off. All I want to do is take the chains off. All I want to do is be free. All I want to do is be free.
Up next, we have the principal of Curtis Strange. Please welcome to the stage, Yolanda Jackson Lewis.
Thank you. Take care of your elders. Appreciate that. Good morning. Or good afternoon. Good afternoon. It still feels like morning to me. I will be reading to you from Across That Bridge, A Vision for Change and the Future of America by John Lewis. If you don't know who John Lewis is, we should all know that, but Google him if you don't. I chose this reading, again, like many of us that have come to the stage this afternoon, with the challenging and difficult times that we're living in. For me, my coping mechanism is leaning on that faith and that hope that my ancestors had. It's rough. It's rough, to say the least. As we know, our good brother, John Lewis, he was willing and able to get in good trouble. And Dr. Weiss is here, he's a superintendent, so I tend to get in a little good trouble in the district, but that's okay. That's okay. It's in good spirit. It's in good spirit. I'm reading to you from chapter 7. The chapter is love. Love is the willingness to sacrifice, to be beaten, to go to jail, to be killed for the betterment of society, rather than live out your life in silence. The civil rights movement, above all, was a work of love. Yet, even 50 years later, it is rare to find anyone who would use the word love to describe what we did. We were consciously aware that unity was our ultimate goal, and if that was truly our aim, we had to come to grips with the fact that after all of the warring was done, reconciliation, love, and forgiveness would have the final say. Our protests were our way of standing in the truth to reach our errant brothers and sisters and encourage them to see the abiding truth that was there before the foundation of the world and would last beyond our existence. We are one people, one family. I like to use the analogy of one house to describe our kinship to all humankind. We all live together in the same house, in different rooms perhaps, but under the same roof and within the same walls. If one section of our house begins to rot, a basement, a back room, a closed-off closet, the entire structure is in danger of collapsing. It is only by recognizing our unity that we can prevail. In 1961, 13 original freedom riders, 7 blacks and 6 whites, left Washington, D.C., traveling on a Greyhound to New Orleans. We sat in an integrated fashion on the bus to test the Supreme Court ruling that rendered segregation in interstate transportation illegal. Although this new law had been passed, states in the Deep South continued racially discriminating, forcing blacks to sit in the back of the bus and to surrender their seats to standing whites. Most bus stations still positioned white waiting and colored waiting signs. Our plan was to challenge this injustice. Typically, a train or bus traveling south from New York City, for example, would get below the Mason-Dixon line. The black passengers would be asked to get up from their seats and move to the back of the bus. Our plan was for black and white Freedom Riders to simply remain seated next to each other. And when we got off the bus and entered stations, white riders would use bathrooms marked colored, and black riders would use bathrooms and facilities marked white. It was that simple. But I knew the further south we traveled, the more likely we would run into violence. No matter how bad the beatings were, we would not physically fight back. Ours was a nonviolent mission. We knew it was dangerous, and all of us wrote out our last request before we boarded the bus in case we did not return. On the Freedom Ride, I was prepared to die. If you want to read more, you're going to have to get the book. I would like to end with this quote that is also written in the book. John Lewis uses from Nelson Mandela from his long walk to freedom. No one is born hating another person because of their color, because of the color of their skin, or his background, or his religion. People must learn to hate. And if they can learn to hate, they can be taught to love. For love comes more naturally to the human heart than its opposite. Thank you for your time this afternoon.
Up next, we have Rihanna Johnson, children's book author. Is she here? Okay. Not a problem. Next is the entertainment portion of today's event. The African American Read-In has a long-standing tradition of highlighting literature by African Americans and is a great kickoff celebration for Black History Month. Each year, the African American Read-In highlights an individual who has made a significant impact in the literary world. Today, we have the honor of highlighting the incredible, dynamic Ntozake Shange. Ntozake Shange was an American poet, playwright, and author, originally born as Paulette L. Williams. She changed her name to Ntozake Shange to embrace her African roots, with Ntozake meaning she who comes with her own wings, and Shange meaning she who walks like a lion. A strong and powerful name that would tackle the literary world and change the way women of color were viewed. Ntozake's most powerful work and popular work is her first plays, For Colored Girls Who Have Considered Suicide When the Rainbow Is Enough. With a debut on Broadway that earned the production a Tony nomination for Best Play and being applauded for creating a play that showcases Black women's experiences of love, pain, and resilience. This play uses poetry to create dynamic monologues for the characters who are represented only by the colors red, blue, yellow, purple, brown, green, and orange, who tell their stories. Today, to honor Ntozake Shange, I will be performing an original monologue for colored girls who have considered suicide when the rainbow is enough, combining all of the lines from the characters in the play to create a monologue of creative liberties. This play includes themes of suicide and the experiences that come with it. If due to the theme you find yourself needing a moment, you may excuse yourself at this time. With that, I present to you For Colored Girls Who Have Considered Suicide When the Rainbow Is Enough. Dark phases of womanhood, of never having been a girl. Half notes scattered, without rhythm, no tune. Distraught laughter falling down a Black girl's shoulders. It's funny, it's hysterical. The melodylessness of her dance, shh, don't tell nobody, don't tell a soul. She's dancing on beer cans and shingles. This must be a spoon house. Another song with no lyrics, no voices, and interrupted solos. Unseen performances. Are we ghouls? Children of horror? The joke. I'm outside Chicago. I'm outside Detroit. I'm outside Houston. I'm outside Baltimore and San Francisco and Manhattan and St. Louis. And this is for color girls who have considered suicide. I can't hear anything but the maddening screams and the soft strains of death. And you promised me. And the one thing I don't need is any more apologies. I got sorry greeting me out my front door. Somebody, anybody, sing a black girl song. Bring her out to know herself. My love is too delicate to have it thrown back in my face. Too beautiful, too sanctified, too magical, too Saturday night. Cleansed in silence so long, she doesn't know the sound of her own voice or infinite beauty. She's half notes scattered without rhythm, no tune. How am I still alive and dependent on other living beings for love? I was missing something. Something so important. Something promised, strong, cool, making me whole. I was missing something. I sat up screaming, crying, the ghost of another woman. Who was I missing? What was I missing? I wanted to jump out of my bones and be done with myself and go into the wind. It was all too much. I fell into numbness. To the only tree I could see took me up in her branches, held me to the breeze, and made me dawn dew. That chill daybreak? The sun wrapped me up, swinging rose light everywhere. The sky laid over me, and endlessly weaving garments for the moon with my tears, I found God in myself, and I loved her fiercely. My love is too delicate to have it thrown back in my face. Too beautiful, too sanctified, too magical, too Saturday night. I'm outside Chicago. I'm outside Detroit. I'm outside Houston. I'm outside Baltimore and San Francisco and Manhattan and St. Louis and Wisconsin. And this is for colored girls who have considered suicide but are moving to the ends of their rainbows. Thank you all. I really want to say thank yous to the members of the African American Reading Committee like Jason and Adeline, who really championed me as an actress to be this year's entertainment. And thank you to the entire African American Reading Committee who supported me as both an MC and as in the entertainment portion. So to be able to highlight and honor a powerful woman like Ntozake Shange, it was an absolute honor. So thank you all. It is now time to hear more of our phenomenal readers. Please welcome to the stage, we have a youth reader, Robert Kendall.
Hi. My name is Robert Kendall. I will be reading I Am the Black Child, made by an unknown author. I am the black child. All the world waits my coming. All the world watches my interest to see what I shall become. Civilization hangs in the balance what I am. The world tomorrow will be I am the black child. You have brought me into this world about which I know nothing. You hold in your hand my destiny. You determine whether I shall succeed or fail. Give me a world where I can walk tall and proud. Train me to love myself and my people, to build and maintain a great nation.
Good job, Robert. Up next, we have the legal redress of the Kenosha NAACP. Please welcome to the stage, Veronica King.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. The poem I am going to read this afternoon is Sorry, and it's by our featured artist. One thing I don't need is any more apologies. I got sorry greeting me at the front door. You can keep yours. I don't know what to do. They don't open doors. They don't bring back the sun. They don't make me happy or get my morning paper. Did nobody stop using my tears to wash cars because of sorry? I am simply tired of collecting. I didn't know I was so important to you. I'm gonna have to throw some away. I can't get to the clothes in my closet for all of your sorries. I'm gonna tack a sign on my door. Leave a message by the phone. If you call to say you're sorry, call somebody else. I don't use them anymore. I let sorry, didn't mean to. And how'd I see you know about that? Take a walk down a dark and musty street in Brooklyn. I'm gonna do exactly what I want to do. I won't be sorry for none of it. Let a sorry soothe your soul. I'm gonna soothe mine. You were always inconsistent, doing something, then being sorry. Beating my heart to death, talking about you sorry. Well, I will not call. I will not be nice. I will raise my voice and scream and holler and break things and race the engine and tell all your secrets about yourself to your face. And I will list in detail every one of my wonderful lovers and their ways. I will play Oliver Lake loud, and I won't be sorry for none of it.
Up next, we have Pastor Lawrence Kirby II, Chase Bank VP Community Manager. Pastor Kirby, are you here? Okay. We're gonna move on. Representing the 64th District, we have Tiff McGuire. Please welcome him to the stage.
Well, thank you. And as I was pulling up my paragraph here, I seem to have lost internet, so you're going to have to give me one brief moment. I thought I had Pastor Kirby's timeline to be able to. It didn't work out, so I'm going to go by the window here real quick. All right. There we go. We're good. The 5G just couldn't reach the center of the room, I suppose. Well, good afternoon. I'm State Representative Tim Blair. And I picked my piece because, as several of our other leaders have mentioned, we live in chaotic, challenging times in our country. And I wanted to reflect the wisdom of some others on circumstances like this. So this is from Bell Hooks' book, All About Love. Cultures of domination rely on the cultivation of fear as a way to ensure obedience. In our society, we make much of love and say little about fear. Yet we are all terribly afraid most of the time. As a culture, we are obsessed with the notion of safety. Yet we do not question why we live in states of extreme anxiety and dread. Fear is the primary force upholding structures of domination. It promotes the desire for separation, the desire not to be known. When we are taught that safety lies always with sameness, then difference of any kind will appear as a threat. When we choose to love, we choose to move against fear, against alienation and separation. The choice to love is a choice to connect, to find ourselves in the other. Thank you.
Please welcome to the stage from the Kenosha Public Library, Xander Miller.
It's great to be a reader this year. So a lot of people know that I did not grow up in Kenosha, but not a lot of people know that I grew up from around Minneapolis. And so I was mid-writing a piece for a friend that does currently live in Minneapolis. I didn't finish that, but I realized I'd tell more stories. And something that he's told me a lot recently is that he is tired. The world doesn't stop just because a neighbor got arrested or detained, or all the other things that have been happening to his colleagues and friends, and he still has rent to pay and school to attend, and all the little things that make up the rest of our lives. And I look at him as like, yeah, been tired for a long time too, and I wish I could be there, but I can't. I'm here, which Kenosha's had its own little times. Its recent times has remind me of 2020 Kenosha, and we had a slogan in 2020 that we saw a lot, was Kenosha Strong, and I wish the same sentiment for my friend, because it's community that makes your region, your city strong. And so I do have a poem to read. I did not write it. It's by Nancy Levy Arnaz. It's titled Keep Pushing. We are farmers and postmen and doctors. We are lawyers and dancers and teachers. We are dentists and tradesmen and waiters. We are chemists and redcaps and nurses. We came to this land bereft and beaten. We've pushed our way upward from a slave existence. We've built this great land by the sweat of our brows, and will fight for the right to call it our own. Thank you.
Thank you, Xander. Up next, we have a youth reader, Tanaya. Welcome to the stage.
Hi. I am Tanaya, and I'm here to read 2 poems. The first one I'm going to read is To Catch a Fish, and the second one I'm going to read is I Can. To catch a fish. It takes more than a wish to catch a fish. You take the hook, you add the bait, you concentrate, and then you wait, you wait, you wait. But not a bite, the fish don't have an appetite. So tell them what good bait you've got, and how your bait can hit the spot. This works a whole lot better than a wish if you really want to catch a fish. That poem was by Elsie Greenfield. The second we're going to read is I Can. I can be anything, I can do everything. I can think anything big or tall, or high or low, wide or narrow, fast or slow, because I can and I want to, Gregory Evans.
Thank you, Tanaya. Up next, we have another youth reader. Please welcome to the stage, Sarah.
Hi, my name is Sarah Pan, and I'll be reading a poem about Martin Luther King Jr. by Juliet A. Brew. Martin Luther King Jr. lived so many years ago. He spoke of peace and civil rights, so all of us would know that fairness and equality for everyone in our land is a dream that can come true someday, just the way he planned. We are all the same, as you can plainly see. We all have 2 arms and legs, eyes, hair, and teeth. But we are also different, and that is okay too, because that makes me special, a special me, and you a special you.
We have another youth reader. Please welcome Serenity.
Hi, my name is Serenity, and I will be reading America's Greatest Farmer. You'll never hear a man who worked harder than that famous American George Washington. Born a slave, he learned how to read and become a wonderful student indeed. What interested him is what he wanted to know, were the lives of plants and things to grow. He became a teacher and a writer too, and his invention for farms would astonish you. 300 foods that use peanuts, a little like a peanut oil, peanut brittle, peanut lotion, peanut bars, and even peanut honey. And he never sold his ideas for money. He wanted farmers to use well their land and was happy to lend them a hand.
Up next to the stage, please welcome the Superintendent of KUSD, Dr. Jeffrey Weiss.
Well, thank you very much, and good afternoon, everyone. As I was choosing my selection, there was a book I read several years ago that I thought had some very powerful lessons that I wanted to share with you today. It's by Dr. Claude Steele. He's a professor who was at Stanford and then UC Berkeley. His book, Whistling Vivaldi, does an exploration of stereotype threat and its impact not only on the psychology, but also physical performance. It's really a fascinating book. I want to read a selection of it, but one of the studies that he chronicled in it was when the stereotypes are actually, he had groups of students and he did studies, and for one group of students, he told them that the stereotype around them was actually a benefit and they could perform better, and they did. And then the same selection of students, he told them that it was a deficit and they performed worse. So it really is an interesting, it's a great read, and here's a selection from it. Consider the experience of Brent Staples, now a columnist for the New York Times, but then a psychology graduate student at the University of Chicago. A young African-American male dressed in informal student clothing walking down the streets of Chicago's Hyde Park neighborhood. In his own words, this is Brent Staples. I became an expert in the language of fear. Couples locked arms or reached for each other's hands when they saw me. Some crossed the other side of the street. People who were carrying on conversations went mute and stared straight ahead, as though avoiding my eyes would save them. I've been a fool. I've been walking the streets grinning good evening at people who were frightened to death of me. I did violence to them just by being. How had I missed this? I tried to be innocuous, but didn't know how. I began to avoid people. I turned out of my way onto side streets to spare them the sense that they were being stalked. Out of nervousness, I began to whistle and discovered I was good at it. My whistle was pure and sweet, and also in tune. On the street at night, I whistled popular tunes from the Beatles and Vivaldi's Four Seasons. The tension drained from people's bodies as they heard me. A few even smiled as they passed me by in the dark. Staples was dealing with a phenomenon, a bad stereotype about his race, that was in the air in the streets of Hyde Park, the stereotype that young African-American males in this neighborhood were violence-prone. People from other groups in the situations might face very different stereotypes, but lacking math ability rather than being violence-prone, for example, but the predicaments would be the same. When they were in situations where those stereotypes could apply to them, they understood that one false move could cause them to be reduced to that stereotype and to be seen and treated in terms of it. That stereotype threat, a contingency of their identity in these situations.
Senator Robert Wirch sent his condolences for not being able to be here this afternoon, but we all know he's a big champion of the African American reader and he loves to attend this event. Okay. Up next, please give us a round of applause for all of our magnificent readers. Thank you all. So that we may leave this space with peace, calm, love in our minds and hearts, we have the incredible Dr. Monica Cummings to lead us in a meditation to close out today's program. Please welcome her to the stage.
Good afternoon, family. As I sat here this afternoon, I was thinking of what type of meditation would be most beneficial to us. I am a trauma-informed meditation and yoga teacher. And someone said self-care is a radical political act. So I encourage you all to take up the practice of yoga. It has done wonders for me. And as I sat here listening to the stories that were read, the personal stories that were told, lift our voice and sing, there was a themes that ran through for me. Love, hope, fear, and despair. In the news industry, there's a saying, if it bleeds, it leads. As human beings, in order to survive, we're pretty much wired for negativity, for the threat, right? We're wired automatically. And we live in that. Right now, a lot of us are living in despair, are living in fear as soon as we walk out our front doors. Fear. And we feel that, and we recognize it. But a lot of times, we don't recognize what it feels like to hope. What it feels like in our bodies to love. I'm not talking about physical love. I'm talking about agape love. And so I thought we would do a meditation on hope and love. Because fear is familiar, right? Despair is familiar. In order, I believe, for us to feel love and hope, we have to be intentional on feeling it and recognizing it and honoring it. And so we're going to start off with some belly breathing. And when we belly breathe, it calms our central nervous system. And when our central nervous system is calm, so does our body and mind also come to a state of calmness. So we're going to start with some belly breathing, and then we will meditate either on hope or love, and you can choose. All right? But the type of meditation I do is called Irish Yoga Nidra, and I meditate on opposites. Because we can get stuck, right? It's not always puppies and kittens and rainbows and lollipops, right? We can get stuck in despair. And the type of meditation I practice and teach is, it's okay to feel the despair. And it's also okay to feel its opposite, whatever that opposite would be for you. But that's like a longer thing. So we're just going to stick with either love or hope, okay? So I want you to settle and center on your chairs. And drop into your normal rhythm of breathing. Just your normal rhythm of breathing. And just notice how it feels just to be. Doing nothing else other than focusing on your breathing. And if possible, inhale and exhale through your nose. And just notice how that feels as you intentionally and mindfully inhale and exhale through your nose. Notice what's happening with your breathing. Does it get deeper? Is it shallow? Is it slow? Is it fast? Without judgment, just notice what's present with your breathing as you breathe. And then bring awareness to your stomach and your chest. And just notice the movement that your stomach and your chest make as you inhale and exhale. And as you inhale, as if you have a balloon in your stomach, as you inhale, blow up your balloon, let your belly rise. As you exhale, deflate your balloon, let your belly soften and release. Inhale, let your belly rise. Exhale, let it fall. And this may be a different way of breathing for some of you. Inhale, let your belly rise. Exhale, let it fall. And continue to belly breathe for 3 more breath cycles. And continue to just notice what's present. And when you get to your last exhalation, if you want, exhale through your mouth and release anything you want to let go. And as you inhale again, I want you to inhale and roll your shoulders back and sit up nice and tall. Open up your chest, open up your shoulders. It'll help you breathe deeper and better. Now I want you to continue to belly breathe, and I want you to go back inside yourself. And I want you to feel hope or love. When you think about hope or love, where do you feel that in your body? Where does hope and love live in your body? And just notice how that feels. Your chest, your stomach, your shoulders. Just notice where hope and love live in your body. And I want you to imagine hope or love starting in your heart and expanding out through your chest, down into your stomach, your lower back, up through your shoulders, your neck, to your face. If you're feeling hope and love, what kind of expression do you think you'll have on your face? Let it expand out through the crown of your head. Continue letting hope and love expand and spread throughout your entire body, down your legs, to your feet, out your toes. And just imagine your entire body radiating with hope and love. And what that looks like and what that feels like. And continue to allow hope and love to continue to expand out from your body into the world. And I want you to hold on to that feeling as you listen to the news, as you may experience protests and all the mind-numbing and spirit-killing energy that's out there. Go back to this feeling of hope and love and ground yourself in it so it doesn't ground you down. Return to your breath, inhaling and exhaling through the nose if possible. And when you're ready, wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes. If your eyes are closed, slowly open your eyes, coming back to an alert state of mind and body. Be gentle with yourselves. And I'll see you around the neighborhood.
Here's Fran, she's a part of the AARI committee. Please give her a hand.
On behalf of the committee for this year's read-in, thank you to all the readers who have shared the written words of African American authors with us today. A special thank you to, you know who, Jada, please. She's the first time doing the MC, so she did a really, really terrific job. Thank you to all of you who braved the cold, although it's not as cold as it was, but it's still pretty darn cold, to join us today for a celebration of Black History Month. Please take a cookie or 2 or 3 on your way out, because we don't want to take them home. See you next year.
Thank you all for coming. See you next year. Safe travels home. Thank you all.